Living in New York City is hard. Collecting in New York City is even harder because of the space. I showed you guys my whole setup in my last game room tour, and as you can tell, a lot of things have been updated since then. But since my last upload, I got a lot of questions. Number one, I did not sell everything. As I mentioned in my prior video, I wasn't selling everything, just my extra stuff or doubles. This is not even everything I still have left. This is just 1/3 of what I have left. I still have a bunch of stuff in my other apartment as well as storage. But yeah, in the future I might sell things again when I move at some point. Now, before I go over the other questions you guys had for me, I just wanted to do a quick before and after look to show you guys how much things have changed. I switched a lot of the stuff in my living room to white so that the space would look a lot more open and clean, and so that everything would match. I also tried to make my game wall a little more functional and cute at the same time by setting up a nice display of my Nintendo games as well as some Nintendo accessories. Before I answer the rest of the questions, let's take a look at my game wall. And I tried to keep it clean but also make it look fun because it does take up 90% of my living room. Now, initially this first shelf was supposed to be just PlayStation, however my little Nintendo museum setup took the top shelf. But right underneath that we have PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3, 4, and a few PlayStation 5 games, as well as PSP and PS Vita games. And right under that we have a PlayStation Fight Stick and a boxed GameCube. Next we have my Nintendo wall, starting with my boxed SNES and Super Famicom games, Wii U games, GameCube, DS, Switch, and then more of my Nintendo Museum display. And right above that you can see I'm using the top of these shelves as storage for like extra boxes and things that just don't fit. Going on to the next shelf, we have some NES games, loose SNES and Super Famicom and Famicom games, as well as my Virtual Boy collection right at the bottom. Over on the next shelf, we have two of my favorite finds, the pink and blue Japanese exclusive Hello Kitty Dreamcast. They are both so cute, I love them. And right sandwiched between them is an Xbox 360. And above all this is my complete North American N64 collection with a nice display on top of that of some N64 controllers and my Pikachu HDMI modded N64. Now the last shelf is a bunch of mixed games. We have Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Genesis, Mega Drive, and some Xbox games. Going over to the other side of the room, we have my second desk setup, as well as the TV displays, some comics on the side, a bunch of my systems set up, as well as storage bins underneath them for controllers and wires. One of the most common questions I get asked is, what are my favorite games? I answered that in my last video where I went through and kind of picked from a few different consoles. So the ones I missed, I'm gonna be going over here, starting with the PlayStation 3. Now, I didn't spend the most time with the PlayStation 3. I kind of stayed on the PlayStation 2 for a while, played a few games on the PlayStation 3, and then just like went all in on the PlayStation 4. One of the main games I played the most on the PlayStation 3 besides GTA and Call of Duty was Fat Princess. And if you don't know what Fat Princess is, it was a digital only game for the PlayStation 3. I found out there is a way to get a physical copy of it, which I did on eBay, and that was to get the PlayStation Best of Network. It comes with 4 games. I don't know what the other 3 games are. I only played Fat Princess on it because when they re-released Fat Princess for the PlayStation 4, it did not play the same. I didn't like it. I wish you could still go online with this, but you can't. But at least I can still enjoy the game. I don't know how many of you out there are like heavily into the DS. I was, because it was like the first console I owned that was truly mine. Like, I had a Game Boy, but I was also sharing a Game Boy with all of my siblings. So when the DS came out, it was like the only console I owned that was truly ever mine. And one of the games I spent the most time on it and I'll still spend hours playing it now is Mario Party. Mario Party DS was my first DS game, and it was my only DS game for a really long time because I didn't really care to play anything else. If you know me, if you've watched my live streams, you know how serious I get when it comes to Mario Party, and that's been a thing for years since the DS. Although I do have Mario Party for the N64 and I truly enjoy that, and I have it for the GameCube as well, none of those games compare to how it plays on the DS. I think the DS has the best version of all the Mario Party games. So we already did that side of the wall. Now here, Battletoads. I loved it so much I had to get a second copy. This is like one of my biggest gaming accomplishments, was beating this game. It did take me 4 years on and off, just because if you've ever played Battletoads, you know how frustrating it can be, and you don't know how many NES controllers I lost to this game just raging. If you watch me stream and play games, you know how I am prone to break things when gaming very hard. So even though most people don't believe it, I did beat this game, and I am so happy to have crossed it off of my gaming must play, must beat list. So the next 3 questions all have the same answer, so I'm gonna answer them all in one. It is, what is the rarest game I own? And for that it is Stadium Events. This is also the worst game I've ever owned, and my biggest collection regrets. Initially, I was collecting a full NES set, and then I realized down the line that it wasn't really for me. I really didn't have the space at the time, and it wasn't actually something I wanted. I kind of went through that whole phase where I just wanted to collect. So I honestly don't even want this anymore. So if you're interested in buying Stadium Events, or you know someone, let me know in the comments. It's cool to have, cool to display, because I own it for now. The next question is, what didn't I play growing up but I enjoy now? And for that, we have to go down. The Virtual Boy. Now, I've talked about the Virtual Boy a lot. I'm like the only one out there that ever really talks about the Virtual Boy in a good way. I didn't have it growing up because I was too poor, and I got it as an adult, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Most people, if they tell you anything about the Virtual Boy, it's how awful a system it is and how it was Nintendo's worst system. I just think the Virtual Boy was ahead of its time. Some of you watching this probably have never even seen a Virtual Boy before, or if you do remember it, you know how much eye-soring pain it gave you, the migraines, the headache. It's probably the reason some of you even wear glasses. But to me, with modern technology, they've done so much to help make the Virtual Boy better and make it so that you don't need this giant headset to play it anymore. We have the technology to mod it and make it look a lot better than it did when it initially came out. And this is one of my favorite consoles. It's like the N64 and then the Virtual Boy, at least for me anyway. The next question is, how many games do I own? So, like I said earlier in this video, this is only 1/3 of my collection. I think I have around 3,200 games, give or take a few. And that's including what's here, what's in my other apartment, and what's in storage. So it may not look like that much, even though to some this alone is a lot, but it's way more than you think, trust me. Another question I got was, how long did it take me to build my collection? So I've started collecting 2 years before the Switch came out, so I've been collecting for about 7 years. So that's about how long it's taken me to build this giant wall behind me. But not only this, all the other stuff that I have that you can't see. So it's taken a while, and that's when games used to be more affordable. Now it's harder, so if you want to collect in this day and age, I say it's gonna take a while, at least for you to get things for a reasonable price and do the hunting in the cheapest way possible. Are all your consoles functional, and how do you keep up with them? So as of right now, all my consoles are functional, and it is not easy to keep up with it because I don't know how to do it. However, collecting for as long as I have made a few friends who mod, cruise, and I fix retro. I'll link their Instagrams in the description below for anyone who wants to get systems or things modded in the future. Most of the stuff I own is HDMI modded, so it makes it really easy to keep up with it and kind of keep them clean and nice and constantly used. However, with older systems that aren't modded, it can be a little more difficult, and I'm not the person for that, but I will link the people who can help you with that in the description below for anyone who is interested. The next question is there anything in my game room that I'm not happy with? Yes. And that is the space. Even though when I did the whole pan and kind of showed you the entire room and it looks very spacious, it's not as spacious as it looks. And if you couldn't tell, this is my living room, so it means that I had to sacrifice my living room space to make it a living room and also my gaming setup. So not the best thing to have to do. I tried to fit it all in my bedroom, but it just can't fit in my bedroom. So that's one of my biggest collection regrets and the thing I'm not happy with, at least. And this is my update on my gaming room tour. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's too little? Do you think I should sell off more stuff? You can also ask me questions about this and more live on twitch.tv/destinyfomo. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more, and check out my Twitter for all future giveaways and updates. Until next time, peace out, FOMO fam.